Right, we're on. Let's all share something embarrassing about ourselves. I'll go first. I was overweight at school and felt ashamed to be so. Now, I'm not sure if these were the exact words, but something very close to this is what came flopping out of the mouth of Bill Clinton during his first retreat to Camp David. We may consider this a civilizational Volta. Let's just make sure that is recording. Yeah. I've lost the thread. Yes, a civilizational Volta. Where previously can you find a leader of the free world behaving like a 24-carat puss? Mr. Clinton was a product of his time. Raised in the 1960s culture of healing, a culture that pronounced humans as being weak to the point that they required the love of all strangers in order to get by. Weak to the point where we were told there is something fundamentally wrong with us, and then told through fluttering eyelashes and lowered chins, but that's okay. Mr. Clinton could have been no other way. Now, in fairness, it may have been necessary after two brutal world wars to add a splash of colour and group sex to the social canvas, and for this reason we must not begrudge the baby boomers their relaxing social standards. However, we may take issue with what they started, for the trickling tears of the 1960s have cascaded down the generations, and now we are drowning in the rapids of emotionalism. Try to name an area of public life that is not in a state of flood right now. In politics, everyone is starting their speeches with, as a black, Muslim, gender fluid, animal king, gay, female. There's a brief pause at this point for applause. Let me tell you. In entertainment, there is a public apology being made every day by some ballless comedian who, when making a joke, didn't consider how his comments would make insert victim group here feel. In academia, there is a demand for trigger warnings and safe spaces. In criminal justice, there is the lunacy of public order offences. Seriously, give the old bill a call and tell them you feel harassed, alarmed or distressed because someone told you to fuck off. Watch what happens. And then we have social media that constantly encourages us to share how we're feeling and then instantly invites everyone else to wallow in our own pusshood. And now, another ship has sunk. Professional sport. Perhaps the last place we had to get away from all this guff, has become a carnival of emotion. How on earth are we supposed to eat our yellow food and enjoy these hulking dudes catching passes and generally destroying each other when the whole spectacle is now soggy with feeling? Please. And then seriously, look, I get that you feel you have a legitimate grievance here, but can we not just have a game of football? So why, I can already hear them wailing and screeching at the back, why do I reject the argument that those taking a knee are doing so out of emotion as opposed to reason? Well, mainly because taking a knee to oppose systematic racism, which is what this movement's about, remember, is irrational. There is no systematic racism in America. Yep, I said it. There is no, I repeat, no law in America that discriminates against black people. The law is the system is the law. Argument over. If, on the other hand, they were protesting the American Nazis or the Klansmen, all 12 of them, this movement would at least be respectable. Petty, but respectable. But they're not. They really believe this. They actually think that America is systematically, keyword, racist. The only way this conclusion can be arrived at is by allowing one's mind to float aimlessly down the river of emotion. We ought to prefer the planned, considered, signposted, concrete road of reason. Emotion, of course, has its place in human life, but emotion, at least the kind of emotion worth having, the kind of emotion we want, is best confined to our personal relationships, to our friends, our family, our close colleagues at work. That's where it belongs. And not because we're English and that's the way it should chuffing well be, Henry, although I do sort of agree with that too, but because that's the only place that emotion can be authentic. Cheers.